Earl Lloyd is presented by a man who played for him with the Detroit Pistons, Hall of Famer Dave Bing.
I'd like to congratulate the other inductees. This has been both a heart-wrenching and a heartwarming evening to sit here and listen to the stories and listen to the backgrounds of some of these great players and coaches that are being inducted tonight. But I have the honor and the privilege of introducing somebody that's very dear to me. I had thought about writing a speech and come up here and read it off and be quick, and I will still attempt to be quick. I know the night's getting long, and we've got yet behind me Earl and Bill and Chief, and so we'll try and get through this. My path followed Earl Lloyd as a youngster. We were separated by the Potomac River and the 14th Street Bridge. He grew up in Alexandria, Virginia. I grew up in Washington, D.C. And as a youngster, I can remember vividly when Earl broke the color line because people in Washington were pretty ecstatic about that. Earl went on to play most of his career in Syracuse, and I happened to go to college at Syracuse University. Earl finished his career in Detroit, and after I left Syracuse, I was drafted by Detroit. And I knew it was something kind of divine because Earl was the scout that told the Pistons that they should draft me. He was probably the only one in the organization at that time that felt I should have been drafted by them. Then I had the great honor and pleasure of playing for him. Earl became my coach. And I can vividly remember once again, after I had an injury where I had a detached retina and my career was threatened, Earl happened to be coaching at that point in time. And I missed about 45 games that particular season. And I knew when I came back, there were reporters and doctors who said, you shouldn't let him play again. And I went to Earl and he said, do you think you can play again? I said, yes. I says, but I don't see very well anymore. He says, well, you're better with one eye than most of my guys with two eyes. And I'll never forget that. It made me feel good. He gave me the confidence that I needed to come back and play another 7 years. I've known Earl for 37 years. I've known about Earl for the last 50 years. And a lot of the accolades that a lot of people get in life as an athlete, as a basketball player, are based on numbers, based on statistics. And I don't think Earl's life and the reason that he's being inducted into the Hall of Fame is based on statistics. If there was ever a true ambassador for the game, it's Earl Lloyd. Earl not only broke the color line, he not only came into the league when things were very, very difficult for African Americans. The stories that he told me, I could be up here for a long time tonight, but I won't do that. He taught a lot of us how to play the game, but more importantly, he taught us how to be good citizens, how to be good ambassadors for this game of basketball. Earl, myself, a lot of my teammates, a lot of lives that you've touched, thank you dearly for being who you are. Your family here tonight, your wife and your 3 sons, I am sure, are exceedingly happy and proud for tonight. I'm sure for all the years that your name wasn't called, you had to wonder whether or not you would ever have the opportunity to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, where tonight is your night, and I am so happy for you and so happy that you've been a part of my life. Earl Lloyd.
Stand here and face deep breath. Earl Lloyd, we all know that it was far too long for basketball to open their arms to African Americans. Weren't we fortunate? Wasn't our sport fortunate that when we did, we chose a man who was a leader, a team player, and such a class act. And so tonight, you go where you've earned into this Hall of Fame honors ring by vote of the Honors Committee and by the power vested in the Board of Trustees. I am privileged to be able to induct you as a player into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame with all rights and privileges. Congratulations.
Knew this day was coming. Thanks, Dave. First, I'd like to recognize my family, my lovely bride, Charlita, better known as Charlie to our friends, my 3 sons, Kenny, Kevin, and David. There's another family member out there somewhere. Guy Jones, where are you? Is he here? There he is right there. It's a family member. A host, I mean a host of friends from all over this country have traveled to be here for me. And I would like to steal some of Leon Barmore's thunder, and I'd love for them to stand. Anyone who's here for me, please stand. I have a very dear friend in Washington, D.C. named Leslie Davis, who wanted to be here tonight, but his health would not let him travel. So Leslie, you know, although you're not here, you're here. I'd like to congratulate my fellow inductees. We're very fortunate. We spent a tremendous weekend at the Final Four, the inductees. Fabulous weekend. I mean, it was fabulous. And we were in very close proximity. We weren't just there. I mean, we were together for 4 days and 4 nights. You almost got a little tired of me. But I submit to you that this class will do this hall extremely proud. I'd be remiss. There were some unusual circumstances in 1950 that forever entwined the lives of 2 other people with me. They're no longer standing, but they are right here. And I speak of Chuck Cooper and Sweetwater Clifton. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. I was taught, the first things are first. Without the Honors Committee voting me in, I mean, there's no such thing as a Hall of Fame. So I want to thank, from the bottom of my heart, and I will always treasure this honor, I want to thank the Honors Committee for voting, for deeming me worthy of being a member of this illustrious family. Thank you very much. You know, Mr. Connerville made a statement last night. Where are you, Mr. Connerville? I saw you earlier. Ben. You know, he was asked last night, you know, he coached at Navy, where he didn't have anybody over 6'4", and he won a lot of games. And he was asked last night, how were you so successful? And he made a very, very simple statement that kind of capsulizes my life as a young athlete. He said, my players did what they were told. Well, my career was influenced by 2 groups. There's one group that told me what to do, And there was a lot of them. And there was a group that showed me what to do. Now, unfortunately, most of the people, in fact, just about all of the people who told me how to do it are no longer here. My mother, my father, my two oldest brothers, my high school coach, my 7th grade teacher, and my college coach. Now, you might ask, how did they influence me? I was asked one time, what person in your life had the most profound influence on you? Anybody that knows me, have talked to me maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, they know the answer. My dad was a nice man, quiet, easygoing guy, a great breadwinner. But my mother, whoever coined the phrase matriarch, they had her in mind. And she was the E.F. Hutton in my family. When she talked, everybody listened. And just to show the kind of household I was raised in, I played 3 sports in high school. Honestly, I played 2. I played baseball and basketball, and I was on the football team. But every day I left that house to go play someplace other than Alexandria, my mother always said one thing to me. I mean, every time I left, she said to me, do not embarrass this family. And she was not talking about winning or losing. I mean, she didn't want me going out there acting like a damn fool somewhere. I mean, she didn't want anybody to think, in my day, they called it home training. I mean, you know, and if I go out and exhibit, I don't have home training, that's a poor reflection on them. No, they didn't play that. My 7th grade teacher, I've been taking orders from women all my life. My 7th grade teacher, her name was Helen Day. This woman, without question, was the very, very best her craft had to offer. I mean, she closed her door and started teaching, and the whole world looked up to you. She had one serious problem, though. She ate nails. And I'm telling you, she was tough. She was really tough, but I love that woman. And when you love people, all you want to do is one thing. You want to please them. And I submit to you that in my hometown in Virginia, Alexandria, when they name a postal station after a black elementary school teacher, she was happy. My high school coach, Lewis Johnson, if they had done a national search to find the perfect high school coach for me, it would have been a waste of time and money, because the guy was at my high school waiting for me. Never raised his voice, never cursed, but had tremendous presence. If he stood in the locker room for 4 hours and didn't say a word, it was quiet for 4 hours. That's just the way it was, because we always waited for him. Man was smart. We waited for him to impart with some words of wisdom. And nobody did anything. Of course, nowadays it would be a little different. I mean, you know, the cell phones be going off. You know, he had to kill somebody. That's the way it was. And sure how lucky I was. I've been very blessed. And it's very easy to be successful when you're always surrounded by greatness. It's easy. I had an announcer ask me one time, he said, in an interview, he said, did success come hard for you? I said, no, it was quite easy. I said, now before you run off and write something crazy about me being braggadocious, let me expand on that. I said, you know, the folks who told me how to do it, I was blessed that They knew what the hell they were talking about. And like Mr. Conover said, I did it exactly the way they told me. I did it exactly the way they told me to do it, and here I am. Now, on the other side of the folks that showed me how it was supposed to be done, there's about 13 of them enshrined right in this Hall of Fame. And if you will indulge me for a moment, I'd like to share them with you. In the CIAA conference, I was privileged to witness two of the finest coaches this world has ever known. That's why they're enshrined here. John McLendon and Clarence Big House Gaines. I know you hear house somewhere. You hear somewhere. I played for two of the finest owners this league has ever known. Danny Biazon. A lot of folks don't know, Dave might not admit this, excuse me, the man saved pro basketball. The 24-second rule, trust me when I tell you this, saved pro basketball. And that was Danny Biazon, the owner of the Syracuse Gnats. That was his brainchild. Second owner I played for, Fred Zoltner. He saved the league with his money. Had bunches of it. Times were hard. I mean, this man went in his pocket to help teams that were not sovereign. The players, you met Dave Bain. Well, you got to be outstanding to get here. Dave DeBuscher, Al Servey, Bailey Howell. That's the guy that drove me to coaching. Bob Lanier, Bill Sharman. Now, some Boston folks say, well, why Bill Sharman? Bill Sharman and I were rookies together with the Washington Capitals. And every day we went to training camp, Bill Sharman stopped at Columbia Road and George Avenue to pick me up, take me to practice. He was killing me, so he wanted to make sure I got there. Darth Shays created a serious problem for me. This guy worked so hard and played so good. You on the other side of the floor, you had to work hard not to become a spectator. That's the kind of play he was. He was our go-to guy, and when we went to him, he knew what to do with it. George Yardley. Excuse me. The highlight of my whole career was George Yardley getting traded to Detroit Pistons. You know, it added 2 more years to my career, not to have to guard him. But I saved a precious guy for last. Played against this guy for 6 years. He's in the Hall of Fame. Played against him for 6 years. I don't think we uttered one word to each other because he didn't talk to anybody, really. I don't know if he talked to his teammates. So my first year in Detroit, traded to Detroit in '58. I hate to throw dates out like that because I see folks going like this with their fingers. We were teammates my first year in Detroit. My second year in Detroit, he was my coach. In my third year in Detroit, he made me his assistant coach. Now, mind you, now this is only 10 years after the first guys played. He made this decision without any agonizing, a lot less fanfare. I mean, he didn't think he was hiring a black guy. He was hiring a guy he thought was competent. He thought nothing of it. And I love him for it. But see, what he didn't know is, you know, when you're 32 years old, you know, you haven't quite checked your ego at the door yet. So he offered me the job. I said, well, Dick, let me think about it. We played an exhibition game against the Philadelphia Warriors in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And I saw Will Chamberlain for the first time, who's also in the Hall of Fame. When I saw him, he was a very imposing figure. I said, this guy probably can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Then I saw him play. When the game ended, I was Dick's assistant coach. Oh, yeah. So the guy I'm referring to is, he's listed here as Richard McGuire. But Dick McGuire, you out there somewhere, you and Terry, his lovely wife. Of course, Terry ruined my life. Dick's a New York guy. He had a couple young kids, and Terry made him come home. And the day he left, our fortunes dipped. Now, I've been prompted, not to make this too long. So what I'd like to do collectively, all the people who have touched me, and there's a lot of handprints on me. You don't come from Alexandria, Virginia to Springfield, Massachusetts without some hands on you. You really don't. So collectively, I want to thank everyone who helped me along that journey. And what you really did, you took a question mark in Alexandria and made it an exclamation mark in Springfield. Thank you, and God bless you.